the campus of Delsea Regional High School in Franklinville, New Jersey, Comcast Channel 5 presents Boys High School Soccer. Today, the Delsea Crusaders host the Kingsway Dragons. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner Ed Benkin. A beautiful fall afternoon for a great day of soccer. Kingsway and Delsea and a big Tri-County Royal Division Classic matchup. And Ed, again, two teams that are really vying for the coaches tournament, two teams that are very familiar with one another, and two teams that really need a victory.
Two teams that need a victory, and you mentioned the familiarity, Rob. These two teams not only meet in the regular season regularly, last year they met in the playoffs, a pretty physical game in which Delsea came away with a win. They are familiar with each other. It's a great rivalry, just like in any other sport with these two schools. Should be another great game today, but as you said, important for the playoff positioning and important for the division title, too.
Well, for the Kingsway Dragons, they boast a number of weapons. A senior-laden team that is led by Andrew Finger. He is red hot. 3 hat tricks in the last 3 games. When
you think about players in South Jersey, Rob, who are natural scorers, guys who you have to pay attention to whenever they touch the ball, Andrew Finger is one of those players. He is a guy who can single-handedly win a game for Kingsway. He's done it a couple times this year. He has a good supporting cast around him, but make no mistake about it, when Andrew Finger is out there, every time he touches the ball, everyone on the Crusaders is going to have to be aware of where he is at all times.
Well, of course, talk a little bit about defense. We had an opportunity to see Delsea last week against Clearview. Manhandled that Clearview team, but I tell you, it all started in the back with Kevon Nelson, a player that is vastly underrated, and he'll be an important player today.
Yeah, there are players who are great defenders who do all the right things in their own end, but Kevon Nelson adds a little more to that. He not only takes care of business in front of his own net, he can set you up down at the other end. Pretty much anytime you see him make a clearing pass, sending it downfield, it's going to go right where he wants it to go. He is the catalyst back there for a team that is, of course, a very tough team, a team that plays very well in its own end. He is the man who leads the way for Delsea.
This is a Kingsway team that has traditionally had trouble with Delsea. We'll see if they can keep up with the physical play of the Crusaders. We'll have it for you right after this. Welcome back to Delsea High School. Rob Christ along with Ed Benkin. Ready to start things. A nice little setup here at Delsea. First time I've done a soccer game here, Ed. A beautiful afternoon for a nice little setup, as I mentioned.
Very nice setup here, and the varsity field, a little newer over the last few years, used to be where the JV field is right now, and of course they've changed that, and we have seen Delsea actually be the host for several group championships as well.
And we're underway here at Delsea. We had an opportunity to see them the other day against a Clearview team that looked outmanned, but I think it was just a case of Delsea playing very well and maybe Clearview not having their best day.
Interesting, too, with these two teams, you look at where they are right near each other in the standings, yet Delsea not ranked. Kingsway ranked 16th with a record of 7-2 coming into this one, and as we said, a big game in the Tri-County Royal Division coming in. Delsea still has yet to lose in the division. Kingsway just a game behind.
Ball sent to the middle, and here comes Steve Leslie. Very impressed with this young man as we watched them last week against the Pioneers. Ball pushed forward, and Delsea trying to put together their first attack. They'll send it back to Nelson. We've seen just the calming influence that Nelson has in the back of the field for these Crusaders.
And we talked about Nelson for Delsea in the red, and for Kingsway, again, keep an eye on Andrew Finger. He is number 6. He's the guy who's going to be looking to do things offensively for the Dragons.
Delsea really played a tremendous game against Clearview. A lot of one-touch passing and very crisp and clean, and it's obviously something that Kingsway will have to counter here. Leslie, and goes down, falling on top of Andrew Finger.
And head coach Vincent Astor here at Delsea has always been a coach who demands a lot out of his players, and again, this is a very tough team. That is his trademark with this squad, and this is a team that's always moved the ball well. We just talked about Nelson at the top of our telecast. That's his specialty.
Kingsway in their traditional black and scarlet. Delsea in the scarlet shorts and white top. Delsea moving left to right on your screen, and they will have throw-in. Justin DiBiase looking for Anthony Amanera, who had quite an auspicious beginning. 2 goals against Clearview, and that he has really added a lot of punch to this Delsea lineup.
Yes, he has, and when you get that balance like Delsea has, it usually results in a lot of deep runs in the postseason. We know this team, as we said, will always play well defensively. When they've had more than one go-to guy up front, when they have that balanced scoring, they become a very dangerous team. That's been the case so far this year.
Ball sent forward, and it's going to be Kingsway that comes away with this one. San Martino, an important cog in this Kingsway machine. Kingsway with the steal and sent down on the wing by Dan Featherer.
And Kingsway coming into the season obviously with a lot of high hopes as well. And a lot of people believed that it was Kingsway's year to take over in the Tri-County Royal Conference, because you have a lot of players on this team that have played together now for just about 4 full years. A lot of players who came through the freshman and JV system. So this is a team that has a lot of continuity. They played together for a long time.
In the back, and Searles will allow Nelson to handle. And there you see what we talked about. Look at the pass, the crisp passing of Nelson. And now it's Leslie coming from the back, trying to push the issue, but instead, Finger working against the diminutive one. That, of course, Ryan Doyle. And there you see Searles using that strength to shield off the attacker. Head coach Carl Hart's very open, very candid about the fact that if this team, this Kingsway team, doesn't win today, then the coaches tournament probably not an option for them.
And not just the coaches tournament and not just the division title, but it seems like a lot of teams have stumbling blocks, teams that are always kind of standing in your way. You can compare it, you say in baseball, the Red Sox have the Yankees. In the Tri-County Royal Division, the team that's giving Kingsway trouble is Delsea. They played very well against Kingsway in recent years. A win here for Kingsway would, I think, more than anything else, emotionally kind of get them over the hump a little bit.
Long throw in by the Dragons. Leslie editing it out, and now here comes Doyle. We spoke about Doyle last week. Very, very quick and really tenacious. Amanera, a nice little feed, trying to find breaking teammate DiBiase. Ball won by Kingsway and sent out, and it's going to be Kingsway looking for it. That's Brian Medic. And now down the wing.
Amanera, one of those players who stepped up for Delsea. 6 goals so far this year for the Crusaders, and a guy who really is just getting started when you look at someone who really has a lot of the skill and a lot of the talent that he has.
Kingsway sends it to the middle. Ball handled easily here. Shosage did a nice job against Clearview we saw last week.
You look at this division too, Rob, and you have Delsea and Kingsway here. Cumberland, of course, always a factor. Highlands had a strong season. Williamstown, Deptford, those are the kind of teams, Clearview, that may not win the division this year, but have certainly for a lot of teams been difficult to play against.
Searles heads it over. Little one-touch passing again. Leslie with a nice little touch there to the midfield. Trying to find Doyle, finds a man up the middle, and we may have a handball. We do. Unintentional handball. Good call by the referee as Roberto Sheldon tried to get through and just hit a little divot.
You like the way Sheldon moves to the ball and the way he is in position. We've seen that a couple of times so far today where Sheldon's been able to get ahead of the pack. A handball right there, but he's going to get his opportunities today.
Nice little feed, and here comes Kingsway on the attack. Nick Burgeon to the middle. Nobody home except Nelson. Nelson, again, so calm and collected back there. Leslie has it taken away, and Kingsway will set things up. It's San Martino. San Martino, so important for this team.
We mentioned Kingsway before, coming in with a record of 6-2. They've won 6 in a row coming into this game. Dropped a couple of games early, including one in the conference, and we did just talk earlier about how those teams in the middle of the division can play spoiler. Williamstown's done just that. They handed Kingsway their only loss 2-1 in the division. They also lost a game to Gateway out of the league, but since then the Dragons refocused. They've won 6 in a row.
That was a big win for that Gateway program. Feed, headed out, looking to settle. Perhaps a dangerous play, no call there. And Nelson feeds it back towards the middle. Headed up, ball's being played in the air now. And again, Nelson plays it forward. Little ping pong match going on, and coming from the back, it's Finger, and he's banged up by Leslie. Well, Finger really got banged up last year in the playoffs against this very Delsea team. Kingsway went up 1-0, ended up losing 3-2 in a real heartbreaker. They had 35 seconds remaining in the game when Delsea scored the game winner.
And Finger is the guy who, just like today, will be marked. And Delsea, with their style of play, knew that they had to really play physical against him, make things a bit uncomfortable for him when he gets in the offensive end.
Feed from Leslie, looking for Doyle in the middle. Again, a one-touch pass, and coming from the back, nicely at Sheldon now. Delsea looking to work the flank and trying to weed his way out of trouble. It's Joe McLaughlin.
Delsea coming in with a record of 6-2 as well. They are 4-0 in the division, and they got their season off to a pretty good start with a 1-0 win over Deptford. Meanwhile, their only 2 losses, really no embarrassments to say the least. They lost to 2 teams in the Olympic American Conference, losing 3-0 to Washington Township and losing 1-0 to those Vikings of Eastern.
Indeed. You know, Vince Nestor said they've really controlled every game this year except for that Eastern game. So this is a team that's been dominant, and that is only going to increase with the addition of Anthony Amanera.
And Delsea, we talked a little bit about that win last week over Clearview. I think the last 2 games are really giving you an indication of how Delsea stepped up their game. 5-2 over Clearview, 6-1 over a Woodstown team that's fighting for first place in the Classic Division.
Look at that turn by Nelson, eventually knocked out. So Kingsway will quickly have a throw, and a good restart here in the box. Kingsway, a little feed right in there, and nicely done as Leslie is Johnny on the spot. Nick Bergen, the good opportunity in the box. And you know, Ed, my typical partner Mark Narducci always stresses the importance of a quick restart, and there you see why.
And especially in a case like Delsea, where you want to get right back out there and get an opportunity, you see quickly 2-3 red jerseys going to the front of the net.
Bergen with a little flip, and that is knocked out of the box, and looking for Amanera, streaking on the left wing, working against Featherer. And it looks like we're going to have an offsides.
And the one downside with that quick restart, Rob, is that if your players don't get to the net fast enough and aren't in front, then you don't really have anything going on. And I think Delsea that time, especially with the throw-in, just wanted to get something set up near the near side of the net and then try to get their players in front of the goal.
We're about 10 minutes in, scoreless here at Delsea. Kingsway and Delsea in a Tri-County Royal matchup. Switching sides, and Delsea wisely works the opposite flank. Stolen away. Kingsway looking to go on the attack. A little push, no call, and things are starting to get physical.
Well, not a surprise. We saw that a couple of Delsea players in the white jersey there getting a little bit of contact going in front. And Kingsway, I think, mentally is going to have to weather that a bit, because as you mentioned, it certainly was effective for Delsea in the playoff win last year, in the regular season over the past couple of years as well. It's important for the Dragons to take their shots a little bit, take a couple of hits, not retaliate, and stay within focus of what they have to do to win.
Headed up, Finger. Amanera. Amanera with the ball, working 1-on-2 now. And Finger, a little flick to the side. There's Bergen. Bergen breaking down the defense, will cut it. And feeds back to Feather. Feather, a give and go to Bergen. Bergen. He'll send it to the middle. Good ball right on the head, shot on, but right at Shawsage. I believe we had an offsides though.
Yes, we did, with the whistle came beforehand. Good thought that time. The opportunity was there for the Dragons, and just a little too quick going in towards the goal. But so far in this game, it's pretty much what we would expect. Kingsway trying to use the far and near sides of the field. Meanwhile, Delsea, again, playing a little physical, especially in their own end.
Here's Nelson. Feeds to the wing, and he finds Dave Deese. Deese with some room. Headed back by Featherer. Here's Nelson. Cuts through 2 Dragons. Still going for it. Finally stopped. One of the rare missteps by Nelson.
Joe Mirachi was right there for Kingsway, and he did the smart thing, kind of stood his ground there against Nelson. And when teams play each other as many times as these two have, maybe that's a move where Nelson gets away with against somebody who hasn't seen him a little more on a regular basis. But you play a team and you play their star players enough time, you get a little bit of feel for what they're doing.
Nelson finds Doyle. Doyle, a little flick off the Kingsway defense, and here comes Delsea. To the middle, Leslie working against Finger. Out to the wing, a miscommunication. Sheldon will pick it up. And Feather looks to defend. Long ball headed back towards the middle. And Sheldon lets the ball go through. Here comes Durgan. Durgan working against Sheldon. Sheldon will pick his pocket. Leslie playing catch with Sheldon. And now Deese will send it to the wing, and that's going out of play.
Good pressure there by Kingsway. I think the Dragons were waiting, rather the Crusaders were waiting for one of the Dragons to overcommit that time, but nice job there as Featherer was able to keep the pressure on.
Leslie, a little flick. Searles out to the side. Kept in nicely by Kingsway. Headed towards the middle. Shot on, and Sausage handles easily.
So the Dragons getting an opportunity there, and it gets to a point you just want to get that first shot on goal, even if it's not at the best angle, even if you have a chance to set something up just to loosen things up a bit offensively, test the goaltender, and get an opportunity to score.
Have a restart here. It's going to be Searles.
Mentioned Carl Heil before, the head coach for the Kingsway Dragons. He came through the feeder program in Washington Township, which of course has produced some pretty good players, not just at their high school, but of course for different schools, particularly a lot of the Catholic schools across the area. And he has certainly put his stamp on this program.
Now, Ed, I got to tell you, he was talking about when you were doing television before he was a teenager. That's scary stuff.
I felt a little old, actually, but
I felt for you.
You know, you see a lot of players, and Rob, I know we've covered a lot, and suddenly they're out here in the working world. A lot of them coaching. A lot of the coaches we see now were people who we used to see play, and it's a little humbling. At the same time, it's pretty fun to see the accomplishments a lot of these players have been able to pull off over these years.
When you're as old as our director, Stan Ritter, you know you're old.
Well, since Stan has our microphone controls, I'm just going to kind of hold off on any further comment on that.
To the middle.
If you hear,
you can never hear what's in our ears, we have to give it back to him every once in a while.
We may be experiencing some audio problems in just a moment, folks, so bear with us.
To the middle. Here's a dangerous play, Kingsway, but knocked out by Nelson. To the sideline. And Searles will knock it out. We'll have a throw-in for the Dragons of Kingsway.
You know, we talked earlier, Rob, about Kingsway losing to Delsea in that playoff game last year. And Delsea able to go to the quarterfinals. They ran into a pretty tough Oakcrest squad, and they were eliminated. Turned out to be an all-Cape Atlantic final last year in Group 3, with Ocean City beating that Oakcrest team that knocked Delsea out.
To the middle. Headed on, far post, and Sausage picks it up. Well, you mentioned Ocean City, Ed, and most prognosticators are going to tell you that they're going to probably see themselves in the final again this year.
Well, and again, a lot has to see where the brackets go, but certainly Ocean City, they are the favorites going in, no question about that. They're number 1 in South Jersey. They're 8-0 right now. They've been up in the number 1 spot for quite some time. You look at the way Group 3 shapes up, and they are certainly the clear favorites going in. And if you look at some of the other teams near the top, not too many others, at least in the top 6, top 7, are in that Group 2 mode, or in that Group 3 mode, excuse me. So certainly, when you look at the way the playoff brackets, and by the way, that's not too far away, will be shaping up. Both these teams, that they obviously will be in it and certainly make some noise, but Ocean City remains the team to beat.
Again, not many opportunities here early for Delsea, a couple for Kingsway, but it's been a game that's been played mostly at the midfield. As you see here, Doyle from behind Finger. We'll send it back, and Nelson quickly there to clean up the mistake. Kingsway again to the middle. Here's Finger, a little flick on the wing. looking and has a man. That's Lex. Lex towards the middle. Trouble here, shot on, knocked down. Looks like it may have had the post. It was blocked on the play. Looked like it may have had the post.
Ryan Medic had that shot, and he did hit the post. Right now, if you're Kingsway, you have to be pretty happy because a couple of times so far today, Nelson has tried to clear it out, and we talked about how he always puts it in the right place. Well, Kingsway is anticipating that. That's twice now they've been able to intercept one of his clearing passes and get a good shot. In that case, the best of the game so far.
Sent to the box, and Leslie knocks it out. Shot on, and that'll miss the near post. That earlier was set up by Lex, and that's somebody that head coach Vince Nestor of Delsea said we really need to neutralize him. A lot of respect for Lex on this Kingsway team.
And again, there's so much talk about what Andrew Finger can do, but in this Kingsway team, and again, part of the reason they were, I think, the favorites in the eyes of many coming in is they had a little bit more punch up there offensively, and Lex is the kind of player who creates a lot of chances for Andrew Finger.
That's kind of interesting, Ed, because in speaking with head coach Carl Heil, I asked him, I said, who's the leader of this team? And he said, we have a senior-laden team. We don't really have a leader per se. We have a bunch of guys that tend to step up for one another, and I guess that's kind of the ideal, really.
And when you've had a team that, as we said, has played together, we're not just talking about on the varsity level, but even beforehand, it makes a big difference.
Searles, far near post, hits the post once again, and it looked like he didn't have much of an angle there, and maybe saw a little window from Sausage.
Yeah, Sausage, I think, gave the appearance that there was a little opening, then was able to come out and cut down just as the shot came away. So we've seen two hit the post, and it's a case on that second shot, really, as you said, less just a missed opportunity, more so not much room to shoot at.
Down the wing. Searles feeds Nelson. And knocked out. And we have a player down. Well, Shawsig has been tested early here, and they say that a post is the goalkeeper's best friend, but you really have to credit him because he's playing his angles well.
And one thing Shawsig has always done is been able to really not give the shooters too much to shoot at. That was the case on that last shot opportunity, but right now, again, Kingsway is getting the chances. We've seen just about all the action going to our left, to the left of your screen in the Delsea end, and I think right now Carl Heil likes what he's seen early on.
Kingsway for the Dragons. We're at the midway point of this first half. We are scoreless. Kingsway and Delsea, two of the better teams in South Jersey.
I mentioned before, too, about Kingsway dropping that game earlier in the year to Williamstown, and I think it might have been a case when Kingsway came into the season, they certainly heard a lot of talk that they were the team to beat, and sometimes it takes a loss like that to wake you up.
Shot on, and Shawsig lets it slip through his fingers. Right there to clean up the garbage was Medic, but Shawsig able to reel it in. And you sense a momentum turn for Kingsway. But quickly, Leslie will neutralize that. Sheldon. And there's San Martino. San Martino muscled off the ball. Delsea will send it back. That was Powell, and now Doyle will try to track it down. A good ball here, and a foot race on. And again, Nelson just so tough back there.
And Bergen getting another opportunity right there, but that time Nelson was in position. Bergen tried to go around him, and Nelson just stood his ground. And we will see less experienced players maybe commit a little bit, and when you miss, then somebody's got a chance the other way, but you will never see that with Nelson.
Well, right now, the field tilted Kingsway's direction. There is a slight wind, and it is favoring the Dragons. I can't say, though, Ed, that the wind has been a factor here.
No, not at all, and I think it's been the way that Kingsway is playing that it's been favoring the Dragons so far, but that may certainly have an effect on the way some teams go to the air eventually, and I was a little surprised on a couple of corner kicks that Kingsway decided to just leave it short and set something else up instead of booming it to the net.
Great shot on, and just missing off the volley. That's Nick Mergen.
Well, the opportunity was there. He just put it a little high, but again, this has been all Kingsway here. We've got 17:40 now to go in this first half, and Delsea has yet to register a shot on goal as Kingsway has been dominating. And again, very impressed with the way Kingsway is prepared, with the way Delsea's been able to try to break out. They've denied them almost every time.
Finger heads it on, a little flick towards the middle. Bergen sends it out to the wing, and it looks like it's Deese. There's Searles.
Oh, that's right.
Again, Kingsway just not allowing any transition into the middle of the field. Here's Finger, and we have a whistle. It's going to be an elbow, so Delsea will take over possession of the ball.
Yeah, but you said it, Rob. Every time you see Delsea clear it out, it seems as almost like Kingsway's got the playbook. They know exactly where the ball's going to go every time. They've been able to intercept almost every pass and just have been in perfect position. We saw that nice play by Andrew Finger before he went in and tried to get the shot opportunity, knocking it down again and giving Kingsway another chance.
Doyle with a flip to the wing, saved by Delsea. That was Honorado. And knocked out will have a Crusader throw-in, Dave Deese.
Honorado, you just mentioned making that play, able to keep it in. You never know what can happen. He was 1-on-4, but he forced a bad clear out.
Doyle turns it in the middle. Shot on, but way too much left foot there. Leslie. Looked like Ali Haji Sheik there.
Pretty good leg, no question about that, but a little too much on that shot, as you mentioned. I think he had a little more time to settle that ball down a little bit than he realized. Wanted to get the quick shot away, and again, when you've had the half that Delsea has had so far, when you're spending a lot of time in your own end, you have a tendency when you finally are in the Kingsway end to maybe rush a couple of shots, wanting to get something on net in a hurry.
Nelson. And a 50-50 ball won here by Delsea's DiBiase. Coming up from the back, Deese. Deese feeds it forward, a little back heel, and saved by Sanger. Sanger has been very, very inactive back there.
And I almost think that's why he made the run for the ball. And I mean, you want to make sure the ball probably would have gone out of bounds. You want to make sure that you're going to get possession. But I think he wanted to just kind of get himself into the game a little bit, which can be difficult when you're sitting and watching for as long as he has been.
Good point. 15 minutes remain in this first half. Scoreless, Kingsway and Delsea. Most of the pressure thus far been put on by the Dragons. Nice turn. And again, Nelson feeds Searles. Searles, ball on his foot, goes forward. That's Amanera. Amanera, a good feed towards the middle. Racing onto it. That's Delsea's Honorado. And a shot, but again, nowhere near net.
Well, the shot was high, but Amanera really made that play. Just a gorgeous little touch pass up ahead of the field, and that's another one of his talents. We talked about how he scores goals, but he's been able to pass the ball as well as anybody on this team this year. You look at what lies ahead for Delsea. They have this big game today against Kingsway. Cumberland is next, so they've got the two teams chasing them in the division back-to-back. It will not be easy for them, but if they can survive the next two games, they will certainly be in the driver's seat down the stretch.
Look at Doyle. He'll set it up, and knocked out by Kingsway. We'll have, looks like a restart here by Doyle. He'll send it to the box. In the middle, Leslie, header. Top of the crossbar, and a little bicycle kick, but not enough by Vignola, as Vignola probably would have had to go airborne there to get the correct angle.
Boy, a great chance by Leslie. It's the third time someone's hit post, crossbar, whatever you want to call it. First time for Delsea, but you said it right there. I think Vignola thought he had to get the shot away quickly, and in some ways he did, but he probably would have been better off just trying to turn, get a little room, and get a shot on net.
So now Delsea starting to mount some pressure. Flick forward. Here comes Kingsway quickly on the attack. It's Lex to the middle. Nelson steals it away. Long ball looking for Amanera. Amanera trying to find it. Headed forward by Delsea again. To the wing. Kingsway. Again, here's Lex. And that'll go out of bounds.
So finally Delsea getting a chance, getting a couple of chances actually. And it looks like Vince Nestor's team has settled down a little bit here and finally getting some chances in the Kingsway end.
We're throwing here. And Leslie. To the middle, Powell. Powell will look to settle from the back Finger. We see the quickness of Finger.
And we've talked so much about Finger being able to score goals, but he's pretty effective in his own end as well. He's just tremendously skilled offensively and defensively.
Bergen. Bergen, a little flick forward. Stopped by Nelson. And now sending it forward. That's Deese. Offside.
Yeah, a little bit too far ahead of the pack that time was Amanera. Anticipated that pass. I don't think he realized where he was. He was looking up for the ball. By the time he turned around, he was already offside.
Well played game thus far. Scoreless here at Delsea. Amanera. And Kingsway will look to get it out of their own end. Coming back onto it, one of the Urban brothers. Well, earlier we saw a great play by Nelson. Kind of mishandled the ball, but again, he showed his composure. Instead of waiting to have his pocket picked or just knocking it out over the end line, he just sent it out to the side, forcing Kingsway to have a throw in, and now you see, again, Delsea with possession. Headed forward. Stolen away by Honorado. And out to the wing, here comes Delsea.
Kingsway bench was looking for a call there on that contact, but nothing doing. His going airborne that time was Bergen. He was knocked up in the air, and you can hear the coaches saying, call it, but you know, the referees have let this game be played so far, which is good. At the same time, a little bit of the rough stuff we saw earlier from Delsea, the physical play, has calmed down a little bit. Their first concern is keep the ball out of their own nets, and it's been all Kingsway here in this half.
We'll have a throw in by Nelson, as subs come in for both teams. And Lex will allow this to roll out quickly. A throw in for Lex. Headed forward towards the middle. There's Searles. Searles will send it to the side looking for Nelson. Nelson sends it to himself. And again, this is what we talked about, Ed. Look at Nelson back there, so composed. Now Bergen, good opportunity to the middle. In the box. Powell works his way out, and now a whistle blows.
Well, as you said, Urban really was the one who made that play. His hustle in the corner resulted in the Crusaders giving the ball away once again and setting up Kingsway for another shot.
Searles to the middle. Lex. It's Deese. Now Lex. And again, through ball set for Urban. This is Mike Urban. And from the back, it's Searles. Misplayed, but able to recover. Denny Coneen. Coneen with the throw-in. And
well, I think we may get a yellow here because on that play, coming in for Delsea, trying to get a little room was Searles, and he just got a little too aggressive. Either going to give him a warning right now, instead it's just a foul, but I think if he does that again, we'll see the yellow come out.
Well, we mentioned before, this is going to be a physical game, and we've seen that from the back thus far from Delsea. Sent out, throw in Dragons. 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, Nelson there just sending it out. I wanted to give his teammates a chance to get back and regroup, especially with the speed of Kingsway. Dragons were headed to the front of the net. Nelson did the smart thing, just kicked it out, gave the rest of his teammates a chance to settle in.
Long throw in here, headed forward, and Shawsig able to clean it up.
Well, we talked a little bit, Rob, about how well Delsea has played in this, Kingsway has played in this first half. The downside for the Dragons, still nothing on the scoreboard. You get to a point, if you're Kingsway, you got to convert on some of the opportunities.
And taking a little bit of a chance there, Sanger. He can be aggressive. We'll have a corner for Delsea. Sheldon will take it. In the box. Dragons will come out. Doyle settles. And San Martino. From the back. Aggressive play there by Cunningham. It's Doyle now. Throw in. Doyle. Finds DiBiase. Searles gives it away. And a rare mistake by this Delsea defense, but unable to cash in was Urban.
Yeah, Urban had the opportunity. You mentioned it was Searles who gave it away. That's just careless play in your own end. If you're going to just kick it up and kick it out like that, you better make sure you get it to the middle of the field. By that we mean up in the air into the middle of the field and back towards the center and back towards the other team's zone, and that was just a careless play, tipping it up in the air.
Nelson feeds Searles. It's Sheldon. There's Leslie. It's been relatively quiet today. Sheldon. Good head ball on sides and picked up by Sanger. So good idea trying to find Vignola, who had an opportunity earlier.
And Brent San Martino was there as well. A little bit of contact as he kept the attacker from going to the ball, but still the pass a bit too far.
Bergen working against Nelson now. And again, Nelson just so quick back there, able to recover. Nutmeg goes forward. Doyle unable to settle. From the back, it's San Martino, I should say. A little give and go now. San Martino in the box, a little flip, looking for Finger, shot on, just missing. And there you see how quickly and how dangerous Finger can be.
Yeah, Finger was pretty dangerous shot right there, just missed the target. Had the spot picked out, upper left corner. That was the area where if he was going to put it in, that was the open spot, but just missed the target a little bit. Really Finger's first excellent opportunity on the net today.
To the wing. And now Doyle. Looks for Vignola. And now a long ball sent by Urban. In the box. Nelson heads it forward. Distributes. Deese. Delsea comes from the back. And again, it's Deese. This will be Feather with the throw-in.
Now just under 4 minutes to go in the half here, and Kingsway kind of weathered that Delsea storm a little bit now and is starting to get more pressure back on the net.
Bergen, and a good opportunity, but Sheldon shielding off Kingsway's Lex.
Good thought there as Lex was going to the net. A lot of times Lex is going to win that one-on-one battle getting in front of the net, but was marked nicely, was unable to get a good shot.
And Manera looking for Doyle, headed away by San Martino. Here comes Kingsway, and that's Drew Finger. Kind of interesting, you have a Drew Finger and an Andrew Finger.
Well, we both know what they can do on the soccer field, and particularly with what we've seen from Andrew Finger throughout his career. But again, even though Kingsway has not scored yet, they're keeping the pressure up, and you like the chances they're getting. They're getting quality chances in front of the net, and eventually, if they keep this up, they're going to find a way to put one in.
Bergen cuts it back inside. Again, it's Nelson to stop that. Headed forward in the box. And Shosik punt it out.
And once again, we see, Rob, even though Delsea's going to get possession, every time it's punted out, kicked out, there's always a dragon for the first one of the balls opposed to one of the Crusaders.
Doyle sends it forward. Nobody there but Sanger. Leslie looking for Vignola. Searles with the tackle. Powell. Back to the quarterback, Nelson.
Getting late here in this first half. Minute 45 showing on the clock, and Nelson trying to just carry it out himself, but surrounded by 3 Kingsway players.
Here's Finger. Finger has a man in the middle all by himself with a shot on. Shosik, great save. Kick save by Shosik.
Well, a tremendous opportunity, and Finger made the smart play, got it to the front of the net, but Shosik came out, saw there was an open opportunity, made the save.
Mike Urban all by himself, and really give Shosik some credit there. 70 seconds left now. Lex against Sheldon. Here's Leslie. Lex through traffic. Nice little feed for Bergen. Bergen working off the defense. Bergen still on his foot. Feeds it to the wing. That's Lex. Lex will distribute it to Featherer. They'll look to cut it inside against DiBiase. Gets through DiBiase, but DiBiase recovers. Long ball for Amanera. And a push there. It's a poor decision by Coneen.
25 seconds left. As well as Kingsway has played, Delsea probably going to get the last opportunity here.
Nelson, long ball in the box. Headed, here's Amanera. And a whistle blows. I believe we may have had a push against Amanera.
And there was that clearing ability of Nelson, putting it right where he needed to put it.
Well, that'll do it for the first half. Crisply played first half. Plenty of opportunities favoring these Kingsway Dragons, but we head to the locker room scoreless. Welcome back to Delsea High School. We start the second half. Delsea and Kingsway scoreless. A physical but cleanly played game in that first half.
And a game that was dominated by Delsea by Kingsway rather, in the first half. So you can look at it both ways. If you're Kingsway, you had to be happy with the way you played, but just couldn't put the ball in the net, and we remained scoreless. Delsea has to be thinking they kind of weathered the storm and they can regroup here in this second half and play a little better. But a lot of what Delsea has not been able to do has really been caused by what Kingsway has been able to do on the field so far.
Little feed to the middle, racing on the Kingsway defense. A mistake made here, tripped up from behind. It's Amanera tripping up the Kingsway defender.
Now, Rob, we talked a little bit about how Delsea has Kingsway today, Cumberland coming up next, and from the Kingsway perspective, after this game, they have a pretty tough match against Highland, and they play Cumberland. So there's a good chance the next week or so, a lot's going to be cleared up as far as the Tri-County Royal race.
In the box, Kingsway quickly threatening, and now Delsea will turn it the other way. Leslie. Long ball looking for Amanera. Sanger will handle easily. Sanger last year, honorable third team, or honorable mention all conference. And at this point, he really hasn't been tested.
And we'll see what Delsea's changed here in this second half, and you can expect a few things differently, but the biggest thing we'll be watching from the Delsea perspective is how the Crusaders are able to clear it out of their own end. A problem they usually don't have, but thanks to Kingsway, they've had difficulty today.
Nelson shielding nicely.
We saw Nelson there with that, just that that slick little move where he fakes out the defender, rather the attacker, and goes right and was able to clear it up ahead. And just a play that comes naturally for a player like him. And we've talked a little bit about what little action we've seen on the Kingsway end, but meanwhile the keeper for Delsea has had to come up big so far today, and Schultzik certainly has done that.
Sanger, a little flick, and now Nelson. To the middle. Vignola threatening, but headed back by finger to Sanger. There's Lex. And Searles going right through Kingsway's Mike Urban.
Rob, considering the physical game we expected between these two teams, haven't heard as many whistles as we thought we would, and I think it gets to a point where neither team knows they can afford to make the mistake, and the fact that a lot is on the line in this game.
Well, speaking with Carl Heil, he said, in order to win this game, we have to execute. Of course, that means that that statement's open to interpretation, but you know, when you boil it down, Ed, it's just about making sure you're not making any mistakes. And that's really going to be probably the difference maker here. It's probably going to come off of a mistake.
And so far, we see Delsea doing a better job not making mistakes in their own end, getting it out and getting some chances here.
Amanera in the box. Left foot, flick towards the middle. Headed on. And Sanger, an innocuous opportunity.
Well, Amanera right there wanted to get it in a little sooner, but a good job of the defender to cross over. Looked like that was San Martino who came in and didn't allow him to get that pass up right away, and by the time he hesitated, which he really had to, they were able to get back defensively.
Nelson to feed his teammate Deese. To the middle, Amanera. Amanera turns and back, testing that Kingsway defense. Again, Amanera. To the wing, looking for Doyle. Racing onto it, though, for Kingsway, it's Mark Urban. And a little tie up there. Kingsway ball.
Well, let's see how Kingsway responds here. So far, Delsea, as we mentioned, doing a better job on the clears and getting a couple of chances. It's important if you're Kingsway to play the kind of game and stay within the style that got you to the opportunities you had in the first half. If Kingsway gets back on their heels a little bit, Delsea can take advantage.
Leslie. To the wing. Vignola. Heads it up, nobody there but Dragons. Punt it out. Long ball now. Spreading onto it. Nelson. And we have a collision. I'll restart. Feeding Lex. Lex in the box and off the knee of Nelson. So some indecision there. And I can't really blame Mike Urban because he took quite a hit from Nelson.
Yeah, and at the same time, Nelson, I mean, it was quite a hit, but he's kind of shielding himself there a little bit. He's got a guy coming at him. He looked like he was bracing himself more than anything else. So I think that's why he had that look of bewilderment when he got called for the foul.
Absolutely. Here's the corner. Far side of the box. Nobody there. San Martino. Sent it in again, and Leslie nicely from the back. Fed back out. Andrew Finger in the corner. Slide tackle Doyle, and we'll have a corner kick.
When there's a play and a couple of players are talking right now, one of the Crusaders is arguing. The guy who took a little hit in the back was Vignola, and I don't know if it was intentional. It looked as if Eddie Coney was going for the ball, but he's arguing for the foul right now.
Send in the box. Little flick. Mishandled. Doyle cleans it up. So Durgan, a little redirection. To the middle. And right now, I tell you what, Vignola with a dirty play right there. Literally heading the man down.
Yeah, those two were still talking a little bit after that last foul. And again, in this situation, you got under 33 minutes to play. You got a 0-0 game in a game that's going to go a long way in deciding a division title. You got to keep your cool a little bit. And while it's a natural instinct for a player to retaliate a little bit, it's important right now, whether you're a Delsea player or a Kingsway player, to keep your composure and not try to worry about retaliating, especially at this point of the game.
That was Denny Coneen who took the brunt of that knee, and I have to be honest with you, I'm very surprised we didn't see a yellow card there. Ball sent to the box. Trouble here, Durgan flips, Durgan shot on, and Shosig able to handle.
One of the Crusaders shaking up a bit on the play, as you saw, like something with his hand, but he was able to get his body in front of really 3 Dragons going for the ball and just forced enough of a hesitation to get the shot on net that wasn't really the one that they wanted.
Amanera looking for Powell, but it's Durgan. And Powell grabbing Durgan.
It was Dave Deese, we just mentioned, made that play in his own end. Looks like he's okay, as looked like he was shaking his hand or his wrist when he was coming up for the ball.
Nelson steals from the back. Now Kingsway to the middle, looking to settle. A little flip. Here's Finger looking for some room to operate. Finger in traffic, and again getting beaten up by Nelson and Searles. There's Leslie. We've seen his strength earlier. From the back, it's Searles again. And offsides is Sean Cunningham. Very, very close there, and the Kingsway crowd not happy.
It looked like for a second I thought they were going to give him the clear to go in, but they do call it offside. It was about as close as you can get on an offside call, and you can imagine the Kingsway fans we can hear here not too happy about the call.
Carl Heil literally questioning what happened. Amanera and Kingsway going forward now to the wing. Here's Urban. Urban from the back, knocked out by DiBiase. Here's Lex. A lot of room here for San Martino. He'll volley it forward, looking to beat the defense. Nelson in the box. It's Searles. Searles. Coneen unable to handle. Now Leslie. Doyle. Amanera.
Well, again, Kingsway, I think, really settled back into their game now. They knew Delsea was going to come out aggressively in this second half, but they've adjusted, and now they're getting the better of the chances.
Relax.
San Martino setting things up, feeding Durgan. To the middle, it's Doyle. Doyle. A flick. Far wing, Sheldon. To the wing, Amanera. Chasing after it. Amanera will look to break down the defender. That's Finger. To the middle, here's trouble. Mishandled by the goaltender and knocked out.
Well, there was a misplay in the Kingsway end. At the same time, as you mentioned, Sanger really did read that ball well coming in a dangerous play. Maybe the best chance of the day so far for the Crusaders. That along with a crossbar hit in that first half, and as we mentioned before, Kingsway hitting a couple of posts so far today.
Vignola will throw it in. And he has a very, very dangerous throw, and you saw it earlier. Here you see. Long ball. Sanger comes up, and he'll catch it. Leslie just a second too late for Delsea.
And again, when teams are familiar with each other, they're certainly well warned, and certainly Sanger was warned about what kind of throwing you can get out of that. And that delay, if you're not ready for it, that flip really causes players to react a little too soon.
Great ball there. Here's Durgan, a slide tackle from the back. And that was Delsea's Deese.
Deese made a fine play, and so did Bergen, getting another opportunity here on the throw-in coming up for Kingsway. But we saw the speed. We see that all afternoon so far for the Dragons. It's given them plenty of chances.
Drew Finger will throw it in for Kingsway. About 28 and change remaining. Second half scoreless. Finger, long throw into the box. Headed out by Leslie. Coming from the back, good anticipation. And now it's San Martino. Sheldon instead cleans it up. Looks for Amanera, who shields. Amanera. And it's San Martino now. To the wing. Throw in. Deese.
Rob, here with 27:48 to go in the second half. It's tough to get a feel of how this game's going to go the rest of the way. You got a sense in the first half that Kingsway certainly carrying the play. If they kept it up, we're going to find a way to put the ball in the net. But while they're getting their chances here in the second half, they haven't had as many quality chances as they had, except for that one chance in the middle just a few moments ago than they did in the first half.
To the middle. Flicked to the wing. DiBiase. San Martino settles, but Vignola runs onto it.
Well, there was a foul call, but that was not a good call, because right there, the man was there and just going for the ball, and really there was no contact from either side. Both feet hit the ball, and yet they called the foul.
Long ball sent forward, headed up towards Amanera. To the wing. Urban. To the middle. A little flip, looking back, it's Searles. DiBiase to Leslie. And he'll wisely look to go far side to Sheldon. Here's San Martino. Nice little move. Working against Doyle. Tries Featherer. Instead, it's Urban. Urban on sides now. Far wing. Kingsway looking to set something up here to the box. Little give and go, and offsides as a result.
Well, Kingsway has had a couple of chances, especially in this second half. They've had odd man numbered situations. They could have gone in, had a great chance on net, and they've just been a little too anxious getting in and going offside. There's been a lot of them here in the second half that have cost the Dragons some good chances on net.
Well, that was a poor decision, Ed. He gives the give and go, but in passing the ball puts himself offsides.
Down to 25-40 here in this second half, and Delsea came out, had some chances early in the second half. They really haven't had as many since. When we look at the way Kingsway plays today, again, we understand why they were the team that everybody said, hey, they've got the experience, they're the favorites coming in, but year in and year out, it seems like teams don't like playing Delsea when they're not the favorites, maybe even more so than when they are, because you know if they're a team that maybe has a little inexperience, they'll get better and better as the year goes on.
Good feed to the wing. Urban. Lot of room, shot on. Shosik unable to handle, and a great opportunity. Cleans it up before Kingsway can knock it in. Medic was right there.
He's been on the doorstep all day, and he was there once again. And Shostak had to make a big play and had to control that rebound. That's exactly what he did. That ball stays on the ground. Medic's probably there to put it in.
Here's Doyle. Nelson, Doyle. A lot of room for Doyle. Up to Sheldon. Kevon Nelson. And again, with so much room, he's deadly. Instead, outlets to Searle. Searles to the wing, looking for Vignola. A nice little flick for Amanera. And racing to the back, and this cannot be handled. Surprised no pressure put on to Sanger.
I think if someone had made a charge at Sanger, would have picked the ball up, but as you mentioned, bit of a split second there.
He could not pick the ball up because the ball was kicked back to him, so that would have resulted in big trouble.
And that normally means you boom it out right away if the ball goes on your foot if you're the keeper. And Sanger, that's correct. I did see that on second thought, that the ball was kicked back by his own man. But sometimes the ball goes in. If you're a goalie, you're not sure who's the one kicking it back to you if there's a couple players going for the ball.
Kingsway from the back. And here's room for San Martino. To the wing. Instead, it's Nelson. Giveaway. Vignola cuts it inside. Vignola far post and trying to bend it in, but nothing doing.
Good idea there by Vignola. He had the far side of the net, was able to turn around, had a good look, had enough time, and we've seen that a couple times today, just a little too much on the ball. And these players are not missing short, they're all missing high, they're all missing wide, and and want to get all they can on the shot and just putting a little too much on it so far today.
Sanger. Finally, Kingsway comes away with it. Long ball for Durgan. Working against Nelson. Nelson content to send it to the sideline. And wisely, Coneen lets it go out. Here's Leslie. Far side. Racing onto it, Vignola. Vignola. Mounting pressure. Knocked at it, looked to be fingered. San Martino and Leslie. Leslie shielding. Leslie to Doyle. And Doyle, feeling the duress, punches it past the end line.
Good pressure that time too, as Denny Coneen came over, forced him to give up the ball, and we talked about Kingsway's speed offensively. Same in their own end right there. Great closing speed by Coneen to get there and force the bad pass.
21:30 left now, approaching the midway point of this second half. We are scoreless. Rob Christ along with Ed Benkin here at Delsea High School. A big Tri-County Royal Division matchup. Two teams that are very familiar with one another. Kingsway traditionally not very successful against this Delsea team, but they've had the better of it thus far.
Smart play right there. Just kick it out with a man going to the net in a 0-0 game. Don't want to take any chances. Just boom it out of bounds. Let your defense regroup.
Once again, Kingsway in their red and black. Delsea in the red and white.
And we mentioned this is such a great rivalry for so many different sports. We see it on the football field, of course, every year, but boys, girls sports, it's a lot of fun whenever Delsea plays Kingsway.
Vignola long throw in, handled nicely again by Sanger, and now quickly outlet to the wing. Here comes Kingsway. Through ball, nobody there but Nelson. Durgan pressures. It's through. Urban.
Boy, a couple of missed kicks right there. Nelson, again, just setting one towards the middle, but right there, getting an opportunity was Urban, and I think he didn't realize he had a few extra seconds to settle and try to bring it up and try to set up a better chance.
Leslie with the flick. Finger. It's Nelson. Some pushing here. This will go against Kingsway.
And Marauchi just with a careless foul right there, battling for position, just gave an extra shove before the ball was even near where he was standing, and obvious call that time by the official.
Amanera to the wing. DiBiase cuts it back. Feeds Leslie. Leslie to the middle now. It's Durgan. Durgan will look to settle. Durgan working against Powell. Will turn. Powell. A flick to Doyle. A nice little ball there, looking for a streaking Sheldon. Throw in Kingsway.
Well, things have, you would expect some more chances here late, especially with the way Kingsway started out, but things have kind of slowed down a little bit. Both teams tightening up in their own end and not giving up much.
Durgan beats Nelson as a man by himself and loses control of the ball. A big collision there, but Joe Marauchi, a golden opportunity, just let it get away from him.
Oh, what a great recovery, though, by Nelson. Marauchi beat him, and Nelson, with unbelievable closing speed, comes back in and forces Marauchi to make the mistake.
Durgan with a great play there. Tremendous vision, feeding Marauchi, and Marauchi trying to kick it to himself and just let it get away from him, and Sanger and Nelson both able to close there. And this time Nelson committing the foul, and this is going to be dangerous for Kingsway.
Another chance here. Kingsway, you see how quickly they got that throw in after the whistle. Wanted to use that speed on the far side. Results in another chance here on the free kick.
Finger to the box. Shawsig mishandles but collects. Ed Shawsig, not with one of the easier names in broadcasting. You say that 10 times and you're bound to get that wrong.
Well, it's been easy to say his name today because of the way he's played. He has been a difference maker in this game. He's given his team the opportunity, but Delsea still not able to get much going offensively.
Whistle blows.
And waiting to get everybody set exactly where the ball was, but if you're Kingsway here, you have to try to get that speed on the wings, get him to the front of the net.
To the middle, Doyle loses to San Martino, who will feed back. And a collision error as Searles. Quick feed now. Again, it's Marachi towards the middle. Sheldon boots it out. Conine and Vignola. Vignola goes through the man.
That's not a foul?
No foul call.
And we're starting to see play get a little more physical here over the last few minutes. Hearing a few more whistles, and again, when Kingsway, like right here, gets a whistle, gets a free kick, they want to set up as soon as they can.
Now we'll see the yellow card. And I think this is a good call because otherwise the game's going to get away from the referees.
This might be, and not saying that wasn't a yellow card infraction, this might be a scapegoat yellow card. By that I mean, as we just talked about, with things getting a little out of hand, you had a hunch the next foul that was a bit borderline, we were going to see a yellow card, and that, I think, is, as you said, just to settle everybody down.
Well, Vignola will have to cool his jets and obviously watch himself for the remaining 16-16 of this soccer game.
I think everybody's going to have to do that. We might see a few more of those yellows pop out if the play continues to be as physical as it is.
Sent to the middle. Headed up. Nelson still in the air. Forward. Dangerous play here. Just outside the box, and we have a whistle.
Foul inside right where one of the Crusaders was knocked down, but Delsea having a tough time clearing it out there. That's good pressure once again by the Dragons. And right now, Rob, with 15:50 to go in this game, if you're Delsea, again, you've been able to contain Kingsway a little bit more here in the second half, but you got to find a way to get some chances on the other end.
And Manera and throws down the defender. Getting the explanation.
And I think everyone waited because Amanera kept going. I don't know if he didn't hear the whistle right away or thought he might be able to get away with it, but eventually the foul was called. And it was the correct call, even though it came a little late.
Sent away by Kingsway. Stop by Amanera. Flick to the middle. And now it's Amanera to collect. Nicely done by San Martino. Lex shields. And questionable call again.
They say he was a little too physical, but you're right, Rob. I thought he was just shielding off his man. He's allowed to do that, and instead Delsea gets an opportunity. And we're going to hear a lot more whistles, I think, over these last 14 minutes and 35 seconds.
Oh, this is a dangerous play. That's a shame. Searles towards the box. Headed up. And out by San Martino. Still up in the air. And punted away by Finger.
Don't jump at him.
Back to Nelson. Kingsway defense looking to collect itself. Still in the air. Leslie going forward. And sent away. Sheldon now. And Feather knocks it out. Long shot on, and Sanger will handle easily, but not a bad idea.
Now, especially when you haven't had as many shots on goal, but I like the way Sanger was able to read that play. He was able to see it all the way through, just kind of kept his position, played the shot first, counting on his defender to help him out at his own end. And when you play the shot and you get a good look at the ball, especially if you're as good a goaltender as Sanger is, you're going to stop it most of the time.
Looking to feed Lex. Lex looks like he a little bit out of breath here. Lex against Nelson. Nelson.
Good work.
And the referees say play on.
Well, that was actually a good non-call because it looked like Lex just lost his footing. There was just a little bit of contact, but it was clean contact, and Lex, trying to keep his balance, just slipped.
Get a sense of Nelson getting a little frustrated now.
Well, he's been doing what he can, but he's got to get some help from some people up front. In the meantime, he's seeing 2-3 red jerseys flying at him all day.
Long ball, Finger. Headed out by Leslie. Doyle working against Feather. To the wing, and Honorado. Trying to find Amanera as he's working 1-on-2.
And you mentioned Lex out of gas a little bit here. We're seeing a couple of substitutions. Let's see if he's the man coming out. That's exactly what's going to happen right now. Well, both these teams have certainly played hard this afternoon, Rob, and at Kingsway getting the better of the chances, but still remain scoreless here as we approach 12 minutes to go in the second half.
Amaneri from the back, Powell. Finger to the wing, Durgan. Durgan trying to settle, could not control. Knocked out instead by Deese. Down to 11:45. To the middle. Flipped up. And stolen away nicely by Delsea.
You get the sense some of the times, like right there, Kingsway's just one little pass away from getting a odd man rush going to the other side, but they have not been able to get that last pass to finish.
And a push by Searles. And that'll present a dangerous play here as Searles is picking up the physical part of his game. I think Leslie a little out of breath there as San Martino blew right by him.
And San Martino, I think, helped a little bit. The foul wasn't originally called, and then San Martino hit the deck, and that's when we heard the whistle.
This will be Finger. Far box, headed forward, cleaned up. Shosik hits the post, score! It looked like, I don't know if it was Durgan. No, it was not. Sean Cunningham.
Well, one thing that Shostak has been able to do throughout the day has been able to control the second shot, control the rebound. He did not do it there. Cunningham was on the doorstep. He puts it home. Isn't up on the board yet, but now they will stop the clock with 10:03 remaining. Kingsway finally getting on the board. They had more chances in the first half than the second half, but they finally find a way to put it in.
We have a stoppage here, Ed.
Well, the scoreboard still says 0-0, and not sure what the stoppage is for, but Cunningham right there, good pressure that time. Marachi right there again, getting things started, and Kingsway has itself a 1-0 lead. Now, it'll be interesting to see right now, Rob, if Kingsway's going to change its style a little bit, finally getting the lead here at 1-0, because we've seen them really play aggressively in the Delsea end throughout much of the day. Is that going to change now, and really should have changed with the way they played? You can be a little more cautious, but you don't want to go into a shell until you get into the final few minutes.
That's a good point. A lot of teams have snatched victory. Or snatched defeat from the hands of victory, I should say, by playing essentially a prevent defense here on the soccer field. We see it's oh so often on the football field.
Yeah, they still haven't put that goal up on the board here, by the way, so we know it did stand, and we know the clock has stopped. They had to make a readjustment. They had to stop the clock, so they put time back on to make it 10:31 to play here in the second half.
Here's Leslie. They'll feed the wing, and they'll try to find Sheldon.
And we'll see what Delsea does. Obviously, they're going to have to take some more chances if we get a little closer to crunch time here, but time's already wasted a little bit for the Crusaders.
Switch it up! Switch it!
Well, again, they have not put the ball up on the goal up on the board, but I can't believe there's no reason why it wouldn't count.
It was played at midfield, which would suggest it was a goal.
No, it was definitely a goal, but they just haven't changed it on the scoreboard yet. And judging by the celebratory shots of the Kingsway Dragons, you pretty much believe that it was going to stand. Now they finally do correct it up on the scoreboard.
Sent to the middle. Here's DiBiase. DiBiase deals to Searles. To the middle. Powell. Headed up. Vignola. Urban. Nicely stopped by Vignola. Vignola. Aggressive tackle. No call. Good call. Searles. Switches. Deese. Long ball, and slipping was Doyle. Slide tackle. And Feather wins the ball versus Deese.
And so far, a nice job by Kingsway clocking the middle of the field, so they haven't really changed much so far. They're really not allowing Delsea to get many clearing chances and get opportunities in the other end. And I think right now, if you're Carl Howe, you say, hey, you want to be a little more careful, but don't change to what got you at this point. They've been dominating play throughout much of the day.
San Martino now playing in the back. Sheldon to the middle. Here's Leslie. He'll distribute and find Doyle. A little flick to the middle. Headed up towards the middle. Not a wise decision there. And Amanera getting away with a bit of a tug on the shirt of the goal scorer, Cunningham.
And we've seen a lot of that call. That one was just not seen by the official. And again, the other part of a team that plays as physical as Delsea, will frustration settle in a little bit?
Amanera on the wing. And whistle goes against Amanera, who tried to embellish the call there.
Well, Kingsway right now is, again, has to remain focused. Delsea, keep in mind, has not lost a game in the division this year. Kingsway's just lost one. Cumberland's just lost one. And again, the way Kingsway early in the year was able to rebound from that early season loss to Williamstown, you lose a game early in the year to a team that's not one of the top contenders, you could damage your season.
To the middle. Fed out. Now Searles has trouble, and it'll be Nelson. Long ball, and Nelson will clean it up. To the middle. Plenty of room here for Deese. Deese past Lex. Long ball. Looking for Doyle. Doyle flicks outside. There's DiBiase. DiBiase stop. Nice slide tackle there.
A good play just a few moments ago by Deese to get it up ahead, splitting a couple of defenders, and now Delsea finally getting some pressure on.
Leslie off the set piece. Leslie, far side of the box. Sheldon, I think he had trouble with the sun. Headed out. Here comes Finger. Long ball down the wing. It's going to be Nelson who feeds Powell. Inside of 6 minutes now. Delsea starting to push things up, and of course, that could create some more opportunities for Kingsway.
Kingsway's thinking less opportunity now and more just solid play in their own end, keeping it out of the Kingsway zone and trying to force Delsea into more mistakes.
Searles to the wing. Urban. Searles to Powell, who will settle and feed the middle, but just a little bit too much for Leslie.
Pressure it! Pressure! Don't let him turn in!
Well, trying to save that one that time in a sliding play was Brian Medic. Brian Medic has had a tremendous game. He has been virtually everywhere, and that's an example of how much he hustles. Has not given up on any play.
Medic, and just too much on that ball. Rushed it a little bit.
Yes, he did. I think he saw he had an opportunity, wanted to make sure he got the shot away. But again, if nothing else, even though he misses the target, Delsea has to take a second to settle it in for the kick, and the clock continues to wind down.
Down to 4:30. Urban, and here's Nelson. Nelson getting pressure from Medic, deals coolly over to Searles. Urban heads.
Use him back, use him back, use him back. Well done. On your back, no turn.
Nice little volley. Nelson again sends it forward. And Urban will chase. It's San Martino, who's now in the back. Nice little give and go here. On goal. Shosig, beautiful anticipation as marching on was Joe Marachi.
Well, that was a great play by Shostig, simply because of what he did with the ball. Shostig got to the front. If he kicked it straight ahead, it probably goes off the man coming in, and there's an opportunity for a goal. Just a little soft kick to get it out of the way.
3:30 now. Quick outlet. It's Deese. Deese. Shields. Deese feeds Nelson. Medic. Pressuring Nelson. Kingsway has trouble controlling now. San Martino will play back to Sanger, who cannot handle this ball with his hands. Foul. And a whistle here.
And one of the Dragons, that's Chris Lex, shaken up a little bit as they get everybody settled. Meanwhile, the clock keeps ticking as we see some of the crowd looking on here.
Powell with 2:50 remaining, and Sanger handles.
Now, Sanger has done such a great job anticipating. Every time the balls come his way, a lot of shots like that, you'd think maybe if a goalie isn't sure, he either drops in front of him, lets a defender go after it, but he has been very confident coming out of the net so far today.
DiBiase back to Nelson. Medic chases. Stolen. Lex. Good feed. Finds his man. That's Marachi. And he'll work to break down Deese. Buying some time. Try to cut it back, but Deese knocks it away to Featherer. And Nelson again with that big right leg. Yamanera can't find it. Instead, it's Urban. To the wing. Sheldon. Here's Nelson. To the middle, Vignola. A little flick. DiBiase. Trouble here and knocked out. Good opportunity by Delsea.
And a good play in front of the net. That was trouble right there in front, and one of the Dragons able to get to it, knock it away, but really one of the first miscues we've seen in the Kingsway end for a while, and almost cost them the tying goal as we're down to 1:23 to play. And as you can see, the Dragons certainly in no hurry. You can understand why. Now they'll finally have to stop the clock.
Well, Joe McLaughlin went down with an injury, and as a result, the clock is stopped. He asked to remain in the game, but the referee said, no, we stopped the clock here. You're going to have to go out. So we'll have a couple changes. It'll be Durgan coming on, and it looks like Coneen as well for Kingsway. So some fresh legs with 84 seconds remaining.
Now, once again here, Delsea goes into their own end. Nelson will try to get it up ahead, but so far Kingsway has had everybody covered.
Searles, Medic. And the push goes against Medic. Knocked away by Medic. And here comes a yellow card against Medic.
All right, Medic, he has done everything possible to give his team the chance to win today, and he has not given up on any play, on any kick, on any clearing pass so far.
Yellow card not delivered, so down to 65 seconds left. Searles, long ball. It's Lex heading forward. Here's Medic. Medic feeds forward. Searles again off the side of his foot, and that's trouble.
Less than a minute to play now, and once again you'll see Kingsway used to hurrying it in. Obviously a different story this time.
They'll head it down the wing. Here's Medic. Medic knocks it back, and it's to DiBiase. Doyle now tries to settle. Doyle. And now Powell. Powell feeds Leslie. Leslie forward, Vignola. We're down to 33 seconds left. Urban. It's Sheldon who comes on. Sheldon, long ball towards the box, has a man headed out. And that'll be punted away. Down to 20 seconds. And Medic will be wise to just send it down. He does. And now Bergen will work against Nelson. Nelson switches down to 10 seconds. Headed forward. And now Nelson. Nelson restarts, and that'll do it. Kingsway comes away with the victory. A hard-fought 1-0 win over Delsea.
A great game today, and really a game that Kingsway deserved to win. They carried the play from start to finish. They came in very confident. We mentioned this is the team they had to beat. They finally done it.
Stick around. Post-game interviews and a wrap-up right after this.
Welcome back to Delsea High School. Kingsway victorious over Delsea 1-0. Rob Christ, along with winning head coach Carl Heil. And Carl, we spoke a little bit before we came on camera. This is your first victory against this Delsea team and has to feel good.
Oh, well, it's a big monkey off our back, and it's something the kids have been working hard for. So to finally get that reward is very nice, very nice.
Well, you talked before the game. You said that when you come into Delsea, you know you're going to play a physical game. We saw a physical game today, but your kids really came out on top, kind of weathered the storm, and it was really controlled the play in the Delsea defensive end.
We had some real good chances. Unfortunately, we didn't finish, but we continued to work and press it at what we believe works. The kids believe in it, and right now it's working for us. So, and we're not going to change, that's for sure.
Well, we spoke before the game about how important this game was, not only to kind of, as you mentioned, get the monkey off your back, but you recognized you needed the win if you were going to play in the coaches tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, the cutoff is Sunday, so we have today and Friday. Obviously, were big games for us, one step at a time. So now this one's by us, and now we got a big game Friday. So it would be nice to make the coaches tournament for the third straight year and represent the Tri-County Royal Division in the coaches tournament again. But not only that, but this had divisional implications. I mean, Delsea didn't have a loss in the division yet, and we obviously dropped one earlier in the year, and now this puts us even keel. So we're back to the top of the pack, and hopefully we can finish this thing out.
You talk about divisional play. It doesn't get much easier for you. You have a very good Highland team and then a Cumberland team who's on top of the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, our next 2 weeks are going to be tough. I mean, it started with Delsea, then Highland Friday, and then we have Cumberland and Shalleck next week. So divisionally, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to know what's going on, know where we stand. And, I mean, right now we're playing good ball. So as long as we stick to it, we should be okay. Like I said, the kids believe in it, the coaches believe in it, we're executing, and as long as that continues to happen, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Well, you have to feel good about the team play. You mentioned before the senior-laden team that you have, and one person that really controlled play today was Brent Sanmartino, and Ed Benkin has Brent.
All right, Rob, we are here with Brent, and let's talk a little bit about this win. Now, I know there are a lot of big games to go. I know you've had a lot of big games early, but is it hard at the beginning of the year not to at least put a little circle next to the Delsea game?
Yeah, we struggled in the beginning. We couldn't put any of our shots in and everything, and then we were just getting ready, we played all these little softer teams, but then we got our heads ready for this game, and we just put it away.
It was very impressive to see the way you controlled the middle of the field. Nelson's clearing passes, which always seemed to go to the right spot, were being intercepted. Having seen these guys so many times, does that help that you played against them and maybe are a little bit more familiar with them?
Yeah, definitely. They don't really, I mean, you know most of their moves kind of already since you've been playing 4 years with them, and so it's a little easier.
Early in the year, you had a tough loss to start the division play to Williamstown, and usually in this division, you lose a game early. It's tough to come back from that. Did you guys learn a little something from that game because you haven't lost a division game since?
Yeah, we realized we got to pick it up and we got to start putting it away, and we've been working on shooting at practice and everything, so it's really starting to pick up for us.
This team has played together. These players, you guys have played together not just on the varsity level, but on a lot of levels for a long time. How much has that helped? The fact that everyone really, it's like you almost say, you're familiar with each other just as much as the other team.
Yeah, it helps when you've played with each other a lot because then you know where kind of you can anticipate where everybody's going to make their runs and everything. So it's easier that way.
Celebrate tonight, but as we mentioned before, with Highland and Cumberland on the schedule, you just talked about keeping it focused. It'll be easy to enjoy it tonight, but then go right back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. We got to still keep working hard.
All right, Brent, congratulations. Hopefully we'll see you in the coaches tournament. Brent Sammartino and Rob, as you mentioned, he really did a lot to help control this game today, and I think you hit it on the head before with Coach Heil. This is like the white whale. They got the monkey off their back. Delsea's the team that's been the team at the top of the division for a long time. They've been the team that a lot of people felt have always been the team to beat. Kingsway came in as the favorite this year. I think psychologically just as well, this is a big win for Kingsway.
No question about that. You talk about psychologically how important that is. And again, there's so many different factors at play here. Of course, they want to beat Delsea, 1. 2, it's a divisional game, and 3, of course, the coaches tournament. And I think, as you mentioned, psychologically, you look ahead to the playoffs. They have to feel very confident going into the playoffs because if they meet this Delsea team, it's a team they know that they can beat.
I think a lot of people in both areas would love to see a rematch in the playoffs. And from the Delsea perspective, as you said, Rob, it's time for them to put this one aside. This was Kingsway's day. No question about it. From start to finish, they dominated play. But you know Delsea will get better still. They've got a month to go. They will be a tough out in the playoffs when they get there. Be a lot of fun to see a playoff game again between these two.
And don't be surprised if we do see a playoff game between these two. It was kind of interesting because you touched upon it, Ed, during the broadcast. These are teams that almost know one another's moves, and Sammartino touched upon that as well. And no surprise that it was a 1-0 game.
No surprise considering the chances Kingsway had. Delsea was able to, as we said, kind of weather the storm early. In the second half, things slowed down because teams knew the next mistake, as you mentioned earlier, Rob, next mistake could be the big one. Kingsway finally capitalizes, and they get a very big win here in Franklinville.
Well, you could sense the emotion of Coach Heil there, really wanting this win badly and coming away with a 1-0 victory. He has to feel good about it, as does this Kingsway team. We mentioned before they have a tough road to hoe, but they're going to take it one game at a time. So, again, your final score here from Delsea High School, it was Kingsway victorious over Delsea, 1-0. From my director, Stan Ritter, my partner, Ed Benkin, I'm Rob Chris. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.